Hi, Analisa Six here with the Lady of Leisure and the Sober Curator to bring you the March 2024 horoscope for the zodiac sign of Aquarius for Sun and Rising placements. Hi, Aquarius. We are here in March. It's already March 6th. It's my grandma's birthday today, actually. She passed away a couple years ago, but happy birthday to my grandma. I'm not trying to be depressing, but yeah, it's her birthday today. Um, we start out every March in Pisces season, and we've got a lot of planets in Pisces right now. So let's just jump right in and talk about where this is hitting for you, Aquarius. So the Sun, Saturn, Mercury, and Neptune are all in Pisces, and they're lighting up the area of the horoscope for Aquarius. That is the area that represents money, material security, values, and our sense of self-worth. It's the second house. And Pisces is mutable water. It represents our connection to the ethereal realm, our intuition, our dreams. And so the first thing that I kind of think about is, have you been daydreaming about making more money? Have you been fantasizing about material security or material wealth in some way? Are you reflecting a lot on your relationship to money and how you can make more of it? Or do you feel like you spend too much money? Pisces is not always the best when it comes to um, thinking realistically. Like, it's a daydreamer energy, it's a fantasy energy. And I have a Pisces moon, so I'm very pro all of that. I think that in order for us to really accomplish things in the material and the physical, we have to be able to imagine it. Where does manifestation start? It starts in the imagination. We have to be able to imagine and envision the life that we want to live in order to manifest it into reality. If we're incapable of imagining something, how are we going to know what the first steps to take in the material are? Unless there's people, I think, though, that follow a blueprint, right? Like, if somebody else has already thought of it, then maybe we know how to follow it because somebody else did it. But then there's also like, music is a good example of this, where, like, if we're trying to write something new and we're trying to write it from an organic place, not necessarily like copying somebody else or what they're doing, but just like actually feel into something, channel it. Pisces is where that lives. Pisces is how we do that. And so when it comes to making money and when it comes to your relationship to self-worth, there could be kind of this need for you to think outside the box and start envisioning, what are the opportunities, what are the different modalities of skills that you have that could generate the amount of money or security or stability that you want to create for yourself. Mercury here, like, again, there's kind of this fantastical energy to Pisces, and Mercury is in detriment in Pisces, meaning that it doesn't operate at its strongest here, because Mercury is prone to illusions and delusional thinking, illusions and delusions. It can also be deceptive. So you have to be really mindful when it comes to your money during this time, because you could think something is too good to be true, and then it is, that kind of thing. So those are just some things to kind of think about. But, it's a great energy for creative problem solving when it comes to thinking outside the box, if there's, ways that you need to generate more income into your life. On March 9th, Mercury, well, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Venus and Mars, starting out the month, are in your sign of Aquarius. And the area that that's hitting for you is the area that represents identity. So it's the first house in the birth chart that is our relationship to self. So our relationship to our identity, our relationship to how we relate to self. And it's a personal journey. It's not how other people are relating to us. It's not how we are putting ourselves out to other people. It's literally our relationship of ourself to ourself. And so with Venus here, it's really positive for you to focus on things that do help you build a strong sense of self-worth and self-love. Self-love practices, rituals, those things are really positive for you. Mars here also can amplify the need for us to feel in a power seat in our lives, and like we're able to get what we want and direct our will forward. Mars rules the will. And by the will, I mean like willpower, like, here's what I want and here's how I'm going to go get it. And so you might be a little bit spicy starting March off, because you have all this energy about kind of this fantastical thinking about what's possible when it comes to your finances and your material security. And also, how do I develop a stronger sense of self in this way? And then that's amplified by Venus and Mars here, wanting you to build more confidence essentially within that story. The other thing that we start out the month with is the North Node in Aries conjunct Chiron in Aries. And the area that that's hitting for the Aquarius horoscope is the area that has to do with communication. Chiron is considered the wounded healer. And so wherever Chiron is transiting, there's a wound that needs healing. And we've had Chiron here for a while, so this isn't new. But the North Node here, this is part of the story of this year, is this nodal journey. And so for Aquarius, there's opportunities for healing around how you assert and communicate your ideas. There's a lot of personal growth happening for Aquarius in March. It's a very self-focused month for you. On March 10th, we're going to have a new moon in Pisces. So again, it's at 20 degrees of Pisces, and it's going to be hitting that area, the second house, that has to do with money, material stability and security, and our relationship to self-worth. So again, if this is an area that you want to grow and evolve in, new moons are a great time for setting intentions. It's a really positive time for you to set intentions around your relationship to those things, money, making more money, things like that. Also maybe being more grounded in what's real, but also being open to things outside the box. I think one of the things that's really powerful for me is not putting limits. Like sometimes being realistic puts a limit on what I think I can actually accomplish. And when I get rid of the limits or the limiting beliefs or the limited thinking, I start to think outside the box of what is possible. And I'm like, oh, I guess I could do that, or, oh, that's a good idea. And sometimes I need other people's ideas when they're sometimes it's easier when you're looking at somebody else to know kind of, oh, you should do this or you should do that. And then sometimes you're like, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? That can be really helpful. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes people will give you a lot of ideas and you're like, none of those ideas are anything I'm interested in doing, or, been there, done that, don't want to do it. And so that can be kind of a theme for you during this new moon. Like you might kind of be setting intentions towards wanting to expand beyond where you're at. And it could be helpful to get some advice from other people, but it's also really helpful in Pisces to listen to your own inner wisdom, but not if it's going to stifle you. So there's kind of a balance with that. Mercury is going to join the Aries party on the 10th. And so Mercury and Aries passing through that third house of communication is going to make communication very intense, very reactive. Mercury is going to be here till May, and it's going to station retrograde on April 1st. So you're going to be working through a lot of your own communication stuff during the month of March. There's a lot of opportunity for you to say the wrong thing, be overly reactive, but it's also an opportunity for you to get more linear in how you communicate, more direct. Aquarius can be kind of passive and also people pleasy. And Mercury in Aries is not people pleasing. It's just, this is what I want. This is who I am. And I'm going to just say it in a very blunt, straightforward way. That can be really helpful for the people pleasing Aquarius, but you also need to be really mindful because you could do some damage if you're not careful. 2 days later, Venus is going to enter Pisces and join your house of finances. Venus rules this house and Venus does great here. This is a really positive time for you when it comes to money management and figuring out how to keep money. But in Pisces, again, we have to be careful because, there's opportunity for money to come in and go quickly because Pisces is not grounded in anything. So just be careful, read the fine print, especially as we start getting closer to the Mercury retrograde shadow. Venus is going to be in Pisces here for the rest of the year. Also, Venus rules relationships. And so talking about money in our relationships could be highlighted for the rest of the month too, or will be highlighted. March 19th, we enter Aries season. So the sun's going to be entering that area of communication for you. And again, this brings a lot of energy there to your mental process. This is a really great opportunity for learning something new. You're going to have your wits about you in that way, but you also have to be mindful with, the amount of energy there. Because it's just a lot. It's a lot. It's good, but it's a lot. March 23rd, Mars is going to join the Pisces party in your financial house. So again, Mars comes in, it can be intense, it can be quick moving, and with it in the house of finances, money could be coming in and leaving just as quickly as it's coming in. There could be some financial turbulence, so that's something to be mindful of, especially since this is happening around the time that Mercury is entering its shadow period before the retrograde. So yeah, your money stuff you want to be watching, paying attention to. March 25th, we are going to have our lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Libra. And the area that this is hitting for the Aquarius chart is the area that it's the ninth house, and it represents our values and belief systems, long distance travel, cultural studies, mystical studies, publishing. What else? Higher education and learning, teachers, teaching, disseminating knowledge, inquiring knowledge, the search for truth and wisdom. All of those things are a theme for you, Aquarius, in terms of this eclipse energy. So if you're questioning a lot of what your beliefs are and whether or not you're living in alignment with those beliefs, this eclipse might be bringing some of that stuff to the surface. And because it's in Libra too, you also might be asking yourself if the relationships that you have are in alignment with your values and belief systems, or if you feel like you need to surround yourself with people that are more on your wavelength or the wavelength that you're trying to get on. All right, Aquarius, I'm going to leave you with that. I think that that is a good stopping point for you. I am starting to book one-on-one readings again. And so if you enjoyed this video and you want a more personalized reading for your specific birth chart, you can email me at analisasix@ladyofleisure.com to book a tarot or astrology session with me. I will have that in the description box too, that email. And I look forward to seeing you all next month in April.